Okay. Okay, let's start. Okay, so hi Kelvin, welcome to one of my episodes of my podcast called Milk First 0 Second. So I just want to share what's with the name Milk First 0 Second. It's so I guess how I came up with the name was mainly because I was looking or observing some things, right, which I realized some people they don't understand why they do things or do things a certain way. For example, why is it some people pour the cereal first before they pour the milk? So the whole theme of this podcast is to find people who think a bit differently, see people who see the world a bit differently. Okay, so here I have with me Kelvin Seetoh from he's a co-founder of Growth Investing Mastery. So he has helped many of his students become full-time investors. That is, I think, cannot count already. And he recently 2 years back started he restarted his portfolio and he called it the Hedgehog portfolio. Now it's over. Sorry, he restarted with 20 plus K, right? 20 plus
Um,
K now it's seven
60,
figures.
60K plus, and now it's like 1.1 million as of like last night,
Wow, nice. That was 2 years ago.
2 years ago. Yeah.
Nice. Okay. And yeah, and for yourself, your business goal, growth investing mastery, full time investor, doing pretty well in terms of based on your word of mouth referrals. So yeah, welcome, Kelvin. Okay, so I just want to kick start this podcast or this interview with this first question, right? So how did you? Okay, maybe if I ask you a question, maybe you can do a short intro of yourself. What are some of the kind of customers or best kind of customers do you work with, and what are some of the results that your customers have seen?
Yeah. Hey guys, Kelvin here. Thanks, Thaddeus, for inviting me to his podcast. It's really fun to be hanging out with Thaddeus because I think it's actually changing the game in terms of the marketing landscape. And personally, for myself, I'm actually a co-founder of Growth Investing Mastery. So it's actually a program aimed towards turning ordinary folks into full-time investors. So we really bring them to the really top tier kind of investing skill sets. And these are the skill sets that I've accumulated while being a portfolio manager of a currently iFast managed account, and also formerly I was also an analyst managing for MAS licensed fund as well. So what I really hope to do and who I really want to attract in terms of the customers base, we realize that we typically attract a lot of people who are growth minded, who are willing to contribute, who are really committed to a lot of things. And we ask ourselves, what is actually the best kind of business? Is really choosing the best kind of customers. So when we tell ourselves this thing, when we try to attract everyone, we are actually attract nobody, right? And I realized that at the same time, right? I'll talk a little bit about this, but when it comes to building a community in the get-go, on the onset, we have to be really selective about who are the initial members of a community, because that will set a tone and that will set a culture. But in the beginning, if you're just going to accept anyone to your community, in the investing community, then it's going to go downhill, right? So I think a lot of times, I think the easiest thing is to accept everyone, but that may not be the best in the long term. But the hardest thing is to be selective and you really build a thriving business subsequently. So once again, happy to be on this podcast and happy to share about what I know about building a business, and mixing it a bit about my investing skill sets, and also a bit of marketing which I've learned from various people, but also from Thaddeus.
Nice. Okay, thanks, Kevin. Okay, so maybe let's start all the way before you even
Yep.
started gym when you were a blogger, kelvester.com.
Yep.
So what got you started, writing blogs on investing, and how did you eventually move into your current community, Growth Investing Mastery?
Yeah, so that's a good question, right? It's really about origin story, like where did we come from? Um, I guess I just had some really great ideas. When I was young, I always was quite not sure about where I am as an investor, and I think the best way for me is really putting my ideas out there. So I do blog about it because I want people to critique my ideas. I want people to tell me what am I missing in my thesis, right? And for one selfish reason, Thaddeus, like I don't want to lose money. I want to put my best ideas out there. So I am always posting my stuff on valuebuddies.com. That's a Singapore investing forum. I actually post stuff on my blog. I try to really get a lot of ideas like investingnote.com. That's where a lot of Singapore investors hang out with. Um, but a really good upside is this, right? Not only that people comment on things that you are missing out, but people who see the work that you do and think that it's really incredible, they might want to invite you for a meal. So I got that a lot, right? I think really as a investor or content creator, you put the best work out there for people for free, right? And that really attracts the right people into your life. And so happened that, there was this person who actually saw the work that I did, like what I did. And even though when I was in army, I had a scholarship, uh, he offered me a job, as an analyst working for his education business, and also managing a portion of his company's fund. So that
Mm.
was what I did. I took a very risky move back then, is to give up my hard-earned. Uh, I fought really hard for this scholarship. It's a spring scholarship, so it's a government scholarship, and the application rates are really high, but accepted rates is less than 5%. I was lucky to be one of them, and that scholarship was valued like 80 to $90,000 in Singapore dollar terms. And I gave it all that up, and I was also given a position in Nanyang Business School, one of the top tier schools around the world, not just in Singapore. I gave both of these two things up to actually work. And my mindset was really clear back then, right? This was a calculated risk that I want to take, right? I asked myself the end goal in life is really to earn enough money so that you can be free. You don't have to work for money anymore. So to me, it was very clear. Like, is it starting going to help me to get there? Because at the end of the day, if I'm going to get a job, then I am just having to please my boss to get a increment in salary, right? And
Mm.
sometimes, if even if I did a good work and my boss didn't like me, I may not get a salary, right? Increment. So that's are some problems I see. And I believe that humans, right, we do need to have the power to create wealth for ourselves. And this is the reason why I gave up my scholarship, both my scholarship and my universities, to really go deep dive into learning investing. And I'm being paid to learn, even though I wasn't paid a lot, but I was learning a lot. And subsequently, these were the skill sets that helped me launch my portfolio to, I was making about 15% returns every year to probably high 40%, 50%. So I was there for quite some time. I enjoyed it. The time over there was a great culture, great place, a nurturing place as well. Had great mentors to guide me along. Although the work was quite challenging, but it was extremely rewarding. But Ted, like when I was young, all the way up to my first job,
Uh-huh.
I didn't really travel a lot in my life, and people talk to me about places. I can tell you, all I know about these places was from YouTube. So that was kind of like pathetic, right? So I decided to, for the first time in my life, take a big risk again, is to give up a job that I love the most and to really travel around the world. So when I travel around the world, I met a lot of incredible people. I learned about the cultures. I learned about different listed companies that were there, and I was posting a lot of my content on social medias, right? And people realized that, oh, Calvin, like, initially they say, hey, Calvin, you're going to this country, you're enjoying life, Then
Yeah.
they suddenly realize, hey, it has been 1 month, and Calvin is still posting news, IG stories of like places he has been traveling, and they realized that, oh, Calvin, you're not working, like, and they realized that I was like sort of at my age being able to do this was something really really good, and they
Mm.
decided to say, hey, why don't I actually uh DM you, direct message you and say, Calvin, can you teach me investing? And when I came back to Singapore, I actually took up a job like that, right? So I got paid to teach people investing. So I did it on a one-to-one basis.
Okay.
And initially I charged like $80 per hour. And I asked my friends, based on the knowledge I teach, the value that I do is $80. Okay. He said, no, bro, you gotta charge higher. So I went with $100, Ted. Then after that, subsequently I settled at 120, right? And
Wait, this was when? This was when? 20.
this was like 2018 thereabouts, man,
Okay.
or
Okay. Okay.
2017. So I
Oh.
remember I was teaching people who are keen to learn about investing one-to-one basis. And I came home one day very late and sat on the sofa, and my mom asked me, Calvin, like, don't you think that you have earned enough in your life? Why are you like working yourself out so much? Because teaching people is really difficult. And I said, yeah, that is something that I realized that I was just killing myself doing the process while teaching. I love teaching a lot, but I think health is really important. Then
Mm.
I spoke to a lot of friends, and they said, Calvin, I think you should really start your own class. And what you teach here is really so different, so unique from anyone else that I've learned investing from. And it took a lot of faith, took a lot of courage, but we ran the first preview. We didn't
Yeah.
spend any ad costs, and on that night we actually got almost 40 signups, and that
Nice.
was really an incredible night for us. and I realized that, hey, people actually value the work that I do. Because sometimes, Ted, sometimes when I practice investing, I always thought that it is something commonplace, like everyone knows this. But I realized that what I know is so special, so unique, that not many investors know, and they want to know it, and I want to teach it, right? And as the class go by, the first class had really great raving reviews, and subsequently the second one, third one, it just the ball starts rolling. So today we have a very nice community of almost like 600 paying customers, and here we are. And
Nice.
they want to share with you more about what we do.
Cool, cool. I just want to ask you, or maybe you can share. So, what do you think is what do you think is so different about your method? Because I myself have applied what you teach in your class,
Yep,
and I think that I never shared with you. My portfolio actually doubled. My portfolio doubled.
fantastic.
Yeah, so I like have benefited a lot from your methods that you teach at GIM. So what thing is the something that's different from the what is compared to the rest out there?
Yep. So this is really a great question, because I think as people need to understand that investing isn't just looking at numbers, isn't just like, oh, this company has growing revenues, I'll just buy it. It's not about that, right? It's sometimes about the deeper um purpose of running a business. You see, today a CEO could be, if a CEO is profit driven, the moment he makes the money, he's no longer motivated in the business. And to
Mm,
be really honest, if you take the people out of the company, what would be the company eventually? It will be nothing. It's just a shell. So most people think that they are investing in people in companies, but in my perspective, is that I'm investing in people who create the change in the world, right? Who through their products and services, change the way for better. Like today, you look at the clothes that we're wearing, the computer that we're using, the webcam we are using. All these are innovations created by human beings, right? So today, when we invest, we don't just look at numbers alone, but we focus a lot on qualitative, right?
mm,
And you see, numbers at the end of the day, one plus one is two, right? It is something so easy that it's foundational, right? That means everyone will get it, right, easily. So if you are going to come to my class and just learn about quantitative, um then please go somewhere else, right? Because this is not just what we teach, right? We teach a lot about qualitative stuff. How do you assess the management purpose, the vision? How do you assess his way of managing the company? How do you actually infer from the words that he uses? And how do it's just about understanding the core identity of a management team, and how he could actually drive the company forward. So I guess, these are the things that, if you are new in investing, you may not be able to understand the nuances. You may not be able to infer the company prospects really well. But through my experience as right now a portfolio manager, and previously was actually a analyst, right? I
mm.
am able to deliver my 10 years worth of experience to actually guide and supercharge their journey. So that is really the difference here. And I think I think all our community members can attest to that. And I think we have been leading the industry in terms of our program.
Yeah, definitely. I think like in terms of your community members, your students' results, all of them are I can like because I'm also in the community, everyone just posting results. Oh, I've become a full-time investor, I've been making X amount returns, so on and so forth,
Last
which
last
I'm
year we made
amazed.
last year we made 8 millionaires,
Wow.
but it wasn't through speculation. Was really through grounded research. Was really through a hard work. So we see that this method, this GIM method, this growth investing method has been proven.
Mhm.
And to me, at the end of the day, I'm every day we are focused into our customers, right? We care about whether they are doing well. We reach out to them. We do a lot of things that's hard, but it builds really the right culture for our community.
Nice, nice. So maybe you can share with the audience what are, I would say, the top three mistakes, for example. What are the top three mistakes that the most investors make when they're trying to start out? But before you share, right, maybe I just want to get everyone to type in secrets before Kelvin starts sharing his secrets, because what he's going to share has made 8 millionaires in last year. Type in secret so that Kelvin can see, and then if you guys are excited, please share this post as well so more people can see.
All right.
Okay, so what are the top three mistakes that you see most investors make that is stopping them from making the kind of returns that they want?
Yep. So I wrote something. on my Telegram, and I think I'll just share it over here.
Mm-hmm.
Ted, most of the biggest mistake I've learned or I've seen investors making is by taking advice and not verifying it. So, I mean, in this industry of what we do, we have a lot of experts, right, who claim that they're really good, right? Even myself, right, whatever I say, don't take it at face value. Go and verify what I say, right? And I think it's really important. So I just want to share some things that those experts have been telling us, but unfortunately, it actually sabotages our results. Okay.
Okay.
So the first thing that I would like to share is that you don't go broke taking a profit. All right. You don't go broke taking a profit. So if you're taking a profit in the stock market, you can never go broke that way. So while that is true, but I would like to just challenge this idea. You know, I can say that it's extremely painful taking profits on companies that have super long growth trajectory. Okay. For example, the biggest pain is sometimes thinking that you have sold at the highest, right? Thinking that you lock in your profits, but the pro- only to see the share price going much higher, like 10 times more, right?
Mm-hmm.
You tell that to the early investors of Amazon, tell that to the early investors of Apple, of Walmart. Well, you make 40%, 30% gain, you can't go broke. But if you held on, you would have made a lot more. So sometimes it's really much more better to be holding on companies that have great runways and just staying still. So, this is the reason why at Gym, we don't really have a profit target to sell. We don't sell when we hit 50, 60% or 80% gain. It's not a target price in our heads. But we only sell when we see a weak future for our companies. For example, the growth rates start to decline. For example, they become saturated in their addressable market share. Or for example, the CEOs change, the execution is really weak, right? So I believe like understanding our companies and is really important and not just thinking about taking profits. Sometimes, right, leaving your profits to compound could be exactly the right moves to have phenomenal portfolio results. And I can tell you, last year I did the least amount of trades and I made the most amount of money. So again, it's true that you don't go broke taking a profits, but you ended up having a longer path to become
Mm-hmm.
financially free, right? At the end of the day, you have to look at that. So that's number one, right? And number two, you know, people say take your money out. The recession is coming, and this sounds scary. And I can tell you is that the media is all gang up for you to feel fear. It's all the headlines are gang up for you to have page views. And please don't be manipulated by them. There's so many investors who are being manipulated by them. And I often feel that the news outlets actually do a huge disservice to investors like you and I. What I mean by that, right? So take your money out, the recession is coming. Quite honestly, many experts had been predicting a recession every single year. And let's not kid ourselves, right? I don't believe we have some mystical powers, right? So I really feel that instead of timing the market, why not we hold great companies and ride through the volatility? At least we are putting our money at work every single day, owning a piece of great business. So we always think about timing the market. And sometimes when you try to time the market, you are actually missing some of the greatest gains out there. And I would like to draw an analogy here, right? Let's say we have driver one and we have driver two. Driver one, and all of them wants to go to the same destination, which is 300 km away, right? So driver one will say, I will only want to wait for the perfect weather, the perfect traffic, all green light, no potholes, and I'll start driving, right? The second driver said that I know there's going to be rainy days, I know there's going to be red traffic light, but I will still start driving first. So Ted, who do you think will reach the finish line first? Is it the first driver or second driver?
Second.
It's definitely second driver, right? Although there's rainy days, but the thing is that at least your wealth compounds rather than just waiting for a perfect weather. Because everyone who's listening here, don't fool yourself. There's not a perfect environment to invest. Every single day, there are a lot of problems around the world, but you should just shut all these problems around away by just focusing on the companies and the growth plans that your companies have, right? So I just want to recap, right? So number one, you don't go broke taking a profit. That's one claim that people like to say. Claim number two, take your money out. The recession is coming. That is really totally wrong. And the last one, which is the biggest killer, okay? I want to share it to all of you right now, okay? It's about buy low and sell high. So I can tell you guys, right? It's really difficult talking about buying low and selling high. What is low and what is high? It is too subjective. So at the end of the day, I don't want all of you to just look at share prices and say this is high, this is low. You got to understand about valuations, right? And I've seen great investors succeeding because they understand valuations really well. And I can tell you, looking at share prices will not help you a single bit. Sometimes companies could be at an all-time high, right? Seems like $1,000 or $2,000, but actually it could be cheap and you should be buying more. So never look at share prices alone, but understand valuation. So really, three things here in my mind is you don't go broke taking a profit. Number two, take your money out. The recession is coming. And number three,
Mm-hmm.
buy low, sell high.
Nice, nice. Thanks for sharing. I just want to dive a bit deeper into your first point, right, which is you don't go broke while taking a profit. So why do you think some people have this kind of mentality or this kind of mindset when approaching stocks or investment in general? Is it because when they first see profit, or then they because they are greedy, or is it maybe they're not confident? Oh, just nice! I made 2%. Let's quickly take profit. Is it because they are unconfident? Is it because something else? What is it that you see why people have this kind of behavior in the markets?
Yeah. So I've been speaking to a lot of investors, and I don't just help them to tell them what are great companies, how do you analyze better, but we work through their psychology, right?
Yeah.
A lot of investors, they are not accustomed to seeing 50-60% returns. Um, because their mentality is stuck. They are previously they are buying companies that are not great companies. So the moment they make 20 to 30%, they will lock in their gains and then they'll just sell and kind of find another company, make 20%, 30%, and recycle, right? So every time you make 20 to 30%, you sell, you buy another company, make 20 to 30%, you sell, and you repeat. Because they are buying really lousy companies. But when you're buying a great growth companies, right? The thing is that you should just keep it as long as compounding. So, I really, really try to understand like what was the reason why people sell. I can tell you it's actually two things. Number one is they did not do their homework enough, right?
Mhm.
Because come on, if you have done your work sufficiently and you understand where the business is heading, there will be no reason and there's no fear for you to sell, and the prospect is bright. So number one is really the lack of research, right? And I think a lot of times this is the reason why we say that you can copy ideas, but you can't copy convictions. You
Mm.
can copy all the ideas. You probably make about 20-30%, but when you make 40%, you probably sell. But the ones who really had conviction in those companies, you write all the way up, right? So
Mm.
I always tell people, if you want to be a great investor, there's no substitute for um, great work in research, right? You got to be a good researcher. Unfortunately, I think that in our lives, we might be really busy to research. And this is the reason why many people choose to be in gym, so that we are able to research together. We organize hackathons and we really have deep conviction as well. And I think it also helps to have um, millionaires in our community to be sharing how they have gotten to their first million. And there's this thing that in Reddit, right? Because of the GameStop saga, it's very important to hold the line. It's really happen to have diamond hands, meaning that you got to hold the shares tightly, right? So this thing
Mhm.
called hold the line. So it's
Yeah.
really very important. Like if you understand your work, you have done your due diligence. The thing is that just sit on your shares and do nothing, and you can maybe forget about your shares, right? And then you can see
Mm.
the returns compounding. So again, like it's really back to the same thing, right? Do your work, then you're gonna be you have more certainty. When you make 20-30%, you know that the business is going to grow even further, and then there will be no temptations to really just to lock in your gains. And really, I tell people, right, if you are always thinking about locking your gains, guess what, your life is going to be so difficult. Then you're going to find new companies again, research again. That's so difficult, right? So I think it's really about sharing a different way and different philosophy about growing your portfolio by owning
Mhm.
great companies. And I think that's the most lazy way, but also happens to be the most successful ones I've seen.
Nice, nice. Just like you also shared, you Jim's community. No, you and your coaches and of course your partners have created 8 millionaires in 2020. What do you think is the core attributes or the real a few reasons that help these people actually become millionaires? Is it, I mean, apart from capital, what is it that have created huge success for their portfolio in 2020?
Yeah, so that's like a really great question as well. And I don't think there's a lot of, there could be a lot of factors. But before that, Ted, I've met two highly successful private bankers who have worked in JP Morgan for a lot of years. And when I told them that my portfolio uh, had only 4 or 5 stocks, they almost fell off their chests. Okay,
Really? Okay.
they say that, and I told them, hey, you know, this guy, I said, you run a concentrated portfolio as well. So I said, what's your first top position? Like, what's the percentage of your portfolio? He said 16. Like, to me, 16% is not concentration at all. You know, to me, concentration is like 30-40% in one company.
Yeah.
So that brings me to the point, like, why was so many millionaires being created? It's also going back to what, borrowing this line for Warren Buffett. He said that diversification, in terms of portfolio diversification, is a protection against ignorance,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And it makes very little sense, right? It makes very little sense for those who know what they are doing. So those millionaires, they allocate a huge amount of percentage of their portfolio into their best ideas. And when those best ideas move, it moves a huge part of their portfolio and it allows them to compound their wealth.
Mm.
And I've been always saying that, hey, like in Jim, we are not like average investors here, right? We are actually doing a lot of due diligence, calling people, researching, you know, the employees, speaking to them, understanding a lot of things that people actually don't do research on. So we should really have good conviction in what we do. So those millionaires that was being created, they allocated a huge amount of percentage of their portfolio and it moved the needle for them significantly. And I think you cannot really achieve that by diversification because
Mm-hmm.
usually if one year, if you have one or two ideas that grow by 100%, 200%, that would be really, really good. So imagine you're holding 10 companies. Can you find five ideas that grow at 200%? It's really, really hard. So having that faith, having that courage, having that humility, and having that humbleness to know that you have done your work and that you have allocated significant amount of wealth to really grow your wealth. I think that's really the fastest way to grow your wealth, right? It's really doing
Mm-hmm.
your good work and allocating a very significant size into your portfolio.
Oh, nice, nice, awesome. Okay, so next question, I just want to ask you. So, as a investor, as a full time investor, growth investor, how do you, in terms of your mindset, in terms of your approach, looking at businesses, qualitatively and both quantitatively, how do you use this experience in investing and then use it to build gym?
Yep. So this is a great point as well. Um, I have always modeled my company's balance sheet with the best with the balance sheets of companies that other companies that I admire a lot. So Jordan and we have first, I think in order to take care of the gym members, we have to take care of our employees as well.
Mm-hmm.
So our expenses every month, we multiply by 12, sometimes we multiply by 15 months, and we keep it one side. And we always give the assurance to our team members, like although we are SME, but we have a rock solid balance sheet that once you see it, you know that you're going to be really, really safe, right? We always want our team members to not worry about whether they're going to receive their next salary. And although we are SME, but we provide a lot of strong balance sheet, to
Mm-hmm.
give them that certainty. So Ted, I mean, just to clarify the question, right? You're
Yeah.
saying, how? Sorry, could you repeat your question?
Yeah. So it's like you have been an investor for quite a number of years, and of course, with a very successful portfolio, both
Yep.
yourself and your students. So how in terms of looking at companies that you want to invest into, right? So how do you use this mindset or a way of analyzing these kind of companies and use it to build gym
Yeah,
as your own business?
got it. So I think a lot of businesses that I've seen, uh, they lack this thing called a product market fit, right? So
Mm-hmm.
whatever they are pushing out to the market is not really resonating with the customers. So when we first created our business, we look at how top companies around the world scaled their revenue tremendously. It's really through mastering this product market fit. So every bootcamp, every masterclass, we do have a lot of surveys that we collect and we improve on our product. And even though we have done 15 times revision, today, we still spend almost up to 3 to 4 days every time after masterclass to actually edit our product, make it better. So we are always down to making our product even better. But I think the second thing is that most businesses that are great businesses to start off with, they don't really spend a lot in sales and marketing, right? They allow their customers to actually share their product to their customers, to other customers as well.
Mm.
So for us, we are really really clear, and it became a realization for me is that as long as we are focusing on our customers, day in day out, and we don't treat it like a transaction, but we treat it as a relationship, and we show this proportionate amount of love, attention, and care to their portfolio. Somehow, our customers love us back. So we started to realize that our referral rates
Yeah,
were really really high, higher than industry average, even
very
without
high.
us even asking them to refer. So I think it's really down to number one, having a product market fit, and customers' expectations are always changing. So if your product is always remains the same, then one day someone will just become better than you, and then you have no one to blame, right? And I think that
Mhm.
the most important thing also is that when we try to create a product, we cannot create it based on our versions of what is the best, but we got to ask our customers, what do you want? What do you want to learn? And then that's how we can actually grow. So being very customer centric, in our product market fit approach, that's number one. And number two is really about showing a disproportionate amount of love, care, and attention to our customers, and ensuring that every single one of them succeeds. So this includes sending sometimes personalized messages to see how are they doing. If they become inactive, we actually reach out to them, ask them, how can we actually help you much
Mhm.
better. And number three, I think it's also to build a very strong community that, number one, I always say that, when people join our community, it's, apart from the love, the care, but quite honestly, they also want to have results. Let's be frank, right? And when you want to share a product to another person, you got to have results yourself first, and then so it's easier, right, to actually talk about the product.
Mhm.
So we actually told ourselves that while we are focused in terms of the marketing, we are also even more focused on our research, right? This is the reason why we have 4 research analysts, and we cannot just be an education company, but we should be an investment company as well. And everyone in our company are investors, right? And that's very important. So why am I saying this? Is because if everyone in my company are investors and we have a strong team of analysts, it also ensures that whenever there's market opportunities,
Mhm.
we will be the first one that is going to go out there to share with our community members. And this is a reason why out of, I would say, a very high percentage of our community members, they all made tremendous profits, sometimes even as high 100%, 80%, right? And
Mhm.
once they have the results, every time when we have a workshop, they will refer without us asking, right? Because if something is so good, why wouldn't you share it with your friend, right? So this is the one of the secrets for us, having high referral rates. So I think it's really multiple factors, right? So product market fit, showing this proportionate amount of love and care to our people, and
Mm.
also ensuring that all our members make good results, because that will be the most important weapon to actually grow a business. And Ted, you have been doing a lot of incredible work for us, and you made us stand out among, in the industry, right? So that is also one of the key component, is really, I think, choosing your partners really carefully. So over here, we don't associate ourselves with anyone else, anyone simply like that. We really look at our partners, we look at what they have on the table, what are value systems, and we realize that, okay, this is a good partner that we want to work with. Because
Mm.
any partner that we choose that is wrong, that maybe that has bad reputation, it's also like a stain on us.
Mm.
So we try to be pure. We try to want to work with like really good partners. So like yourself, and that's really how I think we are actually looking at some of the great companies out there, and we are modeling some of the things that they have done and applying it in our business. And I think it is really a good, and it's wonderful, right? Because first we get paid to learn, because why we when we invest in those great companies, our portfolios do well. At the same time, we learn a lot of lessons that we can apply to our own business. So I
Mm.
would really encourage everyone to be an investor. There's so much upside in your life.
Yeah. So I just want to ask you. So you have been getting a lot of success for your students.
Yep.
So what is it that, because I think what I realized is having attending a lot of courses before, helping even some of them. So not all of them, have. It's not like I teach and then students get results. It doesn't happen that way. There has to be. I mean, usually it's like, let's say I teach a class of 40, 50, only a small percentage will get results.
Yep.
Usually it's not the majority. So your community has an unexceptionally high success rate lah. So what is the thing that you do differently in terms of uh supporting your students, your customers? What is it that you do differently that help them get results better?
I, like most often when people ask me, I struggle to find an answer because I actually do not know,
Okay.
right? I actually do not know. Like, I think it's about being authentic. It's about sharing very openly. I think it's about not drawing a line between you are a coach, they are a student. No, we try to say, hey, we are friends. We're on this journey. We have all our struggles. We show empathy for their situations, and I think maybe sometimes because we hang out together, we go for Sunday hikes.
Yeah.
But let me try to think a bit more, right? If you really want me to pin it down, I would say is that at the start of our program, we always tell people if you are a troll, we see an undesirable behavior from you, we will not hesitate to refund you. And we have
Mm-hmm.
done that before, right? So we don't tolerate a lot of behavior. And we tell people what gym stands for and what gym does not stand for.
Mm.
So we also assure people like this is such a safe environment for you to ask questions, and no one is going to hurt you, no one's going to call you stupid, no one's call you silly. And we tell them, if you ask a question, you may feel like you look silly, but you gain the knowledge and you're going to be rich. So you're going to look silly for a while, but you're going to be rich,
Mm.
rather than you look smart but you don't make money, right? So, and I think we are also very strong in our culture. We kept repeating this thing. Let's help one another. We are one united gym family. When you see someone in need, help that person out as much as you can. Even though you may not be confident in the answer, help the person out. So I think having that safe environment to know that when you ask for help, help is given to you, and when there's this abundance of love around surrounding
Mm-hmm.
themselves, they know that this is the right place, they can succeed. And when we show that we love them and we support them and we know they can do well, somehow or other they also start to have more faith in themselves to actually invest differently. Because a lot of people when they attend gym, they have to unlearn a lot of things and then relearn.
Yeah.
It is not easy. Change is never easy for these people, and we understand that. So we try to support them. And I think if I would just summarize everything that I've said, I guess it's just providing a very safe environment and always being there for them. And you know but there's a limit to what I can do. There's a limit to what my team can do. So we really have great people that just pass kindness, you know over
Mm-hmm.
and over again. And we always emphasize the culture in our community. So if you really want to build a strong community, you don't just emphasize culture once, you have to emphasize culture many times. And whenever you got new people coming in, you want to welcome them, you want to show them that this is like a family, right? This is not just a transaction. You're not just here to pay your money and learn investing, but you're here to get to know wonderful people who are doing amazing things, who are on the same path as you, and who wants you to succeed. And we all want you to succeed together. So that's my message to all my members every single time. So that message has been emphasized, reinforced by my team and myself all the time to our members. So I think that's really important, right? All of us wants to feel loved and appreciated, and know that we have great support around us.
Nice. So it's definitely nice to hear that your coach or the one leading your community is someone who is actually caring for you. So just to summarize, I think what you shared for in terms of how do you create customer success, especially when you're managing a community, is first one is encouraging the right kind of behavior. So instead of just being shy from asking questions, you encourage them to ask questions even though it might look silly, but ultimately you want to see results. Then after, the second one is the right kind of environment, or the safe kind of environment for them to ask questions, and also you emphasize it many times lah. And I think the fourth
Exactly.
one, which is really important, so you don't see your customers as transactions or just numbers, but you kind of treat them as a friend. So instead of transactions, you see them as relationships. Awesome. That is really, really powerful. Okay,
Yep.
so down here, I have in the comments, we have Ang Ting Soon, Samuel, Jing Zhe. Are those your students?
I'm not on Facebook right now, but
Oh, you're not Facebook. Okay.
let me check.
This person say, Ang Ting Soon says, I'm a diehard fan of Kelvin Seetoh.
Yes, wow, that's incredible.
Lim Jiening. Oh, I think Jiening is also your student. Not only
Yeah,
learn
yeah,
about investing, culture is
yeah.
amazing. Wow.
Thank you guys. It's nice sharing the story of Jim, and you guys are all part of the story.
Cool, cool. Okay, I think this one I ask you one last question because I think later you got a preview or a sharing session, right? So how do you think you can what's the advice for I think number one first one is your fellow business owners. So when you wanna get higher referrals in terms of uh your customers or your friends referring people to you, what do you think are some of the things that they can do immediately to build the right kind of community, build the right kind of customers to
I
encourage referrals?
I like a lot of people interview me, and I always feel that the things I share is very simple, but they find it like, wow, that's incredible, right? So I hope like there's not a lot of high expectations of me. Honestly, I'm just doing my best and seeing what works and trying to scale on that. I feel that a community, you see, a lot of great movements are created by a vision, right? Maybe Bill Gates have a vision of putting a computer in every household.
Mm-hmm.
For Jim, it's very clear. We are always thinking about putting an investor in every household, right? So we really emphasize that a lot. So I think apart from, first and foremost, right, if your product market fit is not there and your value proposition of the product sucks and there's no results, then don't work on referrals because you're just going to feel like the customers are just feel like you're making use of them. And at the end of the day, the more you push referrals, the more it doesn't work. I feel that referrals should be mentioned gently, and that intention of sharing what your product is should come naturally to your customers. So I think by focusing on your customers' happiness, I think it will really deliver great referral rates. And I think at the end of the day, we don't focus a lot on um, I would say that apart from running ads, we actually love to create content. I think content is really what is really important, like good content, not just a random content. So if you want people to refer their friends, then you got to equip your referrals. People will refer your product,
Mm-hmm.
some weapons, right? Like fighting a war. If these guys naked running a war, fighting a war, they can't win, right? So whenever we have our podcasts, we send the links to all our referrals
Mm-hmm.
so that they can actually share with their people our blog content as well. So we actually spend a lot of time into making very shareable content because sometimes investing can be really difficult for some people. So we want to simplify content down and then kind of share information. And I really do think that for some people, it takes at least up to 5 exposure before they are willing to actually purchase a product. So five
Mm-hmm.
exposure meaning, Ted, I tell you, hey, we have this latest fish and chips restaurant. It's really great. Maybe you reject me. You say, no, it's not good. The next day I come to you and say, hey, Ted, I ate it with maybe your friend. It was really, really good. And like, oh, I'm trying to lose weight today. I'm not going to eat. The third time, fourth time, and by the fifth time, you say, all right, let's go, Calvin. So it's really about providing a very consistent flow of content, which I
Okay.
think is not easy to do, but it's going to be very worthwhile because referrals are always the lowest cost of marketing. And while I think running ads are really, really important, in my heart, somehow I still feel that referrals are still the highest source of uh, most profitable source
Mm-hmm.
because there's this transfer of trust
Mm-hmm.
as compared to ads whereby you are dealing with cold leads, people who
Mm-hmm.
may not know you, so you have to warm them up as well. But of course, ads I think is still very important to kind of like broaden your reach. So I know I'm talking a lot, but I'm just trying to like say whatever I know. I just want to like recap on that. It's really have a good product market fit. When you ask people to refer, don't push it too hard. Ask them gently and create a movement that your whole community can believe in and it resonates with them, a message that resonates with them, right? Putting an investor in every household. It's like a calling to go to a war. And when you go to a war, you need to have equipments, clothing. So you got to give them like content pieces that can share with their community members. And I think sometimes being real is important. Like we are living in a social media world, so if you are not on social media, that's going to be a big problem, right? And I think sometimes by showing who are in your who is in your company and showing your lifestyle, showing who you spend time with, it creates this sense of this guy is real, this guy has a good rapport. And if you could show yourself hanging out more with your graduates, that also shows that you enjoy spending time with them. So these are really simple stuff. Like I don't think in terms of complex, like we're going to execute a science project, right? No, we're just doing simple things like down to human relations. So
Mhm.
you want to study more about the psychology to human relations, like what makes people believe in you, what makes people believe in your product. So it's always asking them what are their needs and are you fulfilling their needs. If their needs are being fulfilled, they will refer you without you asking them at all because they just love you so much. And that's how we are trying to build our community. And I just think that my advice may not be the best advice, but hope this really helps other business owners. And if you want to reach out to me, I hope I can share a little bit more.
Nice, nice. I think I just want to share a bit on referrals and what makes people share stuff on social media and even word of mouth based on, just speaking directly. So this is a more of a marketing approach, lah, marketing and psychology approach. So last time I was trying to figure out, or rather based on this particular campaign, I was trying to figure out why is the sharing rate so low? Why is the sharing rate so low? So I was doing a bit of research and I found out about this thing called social currency. Social
Yep.
currency. So people, so as I think I did one like kind of a mini experiment or mini hands-on. I was looking on Instagram. What are people sharing? Or I think on Facebook or yeah, Instagram stories. You can see people always repost stuff, share other people's stuff, tag or whatsoever, right? So a lot of times I realize what people share is the things that they are proud of, or it makes them look good. So that means when people want to share stuff, if people don't want to share stuff about your product or they are uncomfortable sharing, which means if I were to share your product, that means it doesn't make me feel good or doesn't make me look good. So I
Mhm.
think one thing important in terms of being or getting referrals or generating high volumes of referral is really for your customers to making your customers look good when they share your stuff. Yeah, I think that is
Absolutely.
yeah. So I think your team and your community did really well. In fact, I think right now the comments is filled with your students. I don't know where they come from, bro.
Ted, I've not even told them about this, but I just did a share on my Facebook profile, and it's great
Wow,
to have them, man. It's really always nice to have support, and likewise, I think we have to earn their support at like every single day.
nice, nice. For those of the students who are watching, you can type, what is the best thing about Kelvin that you know?
Oh no, oh
Type
no.
in Ruth, Samuel, Ang Teng Soon. Type in the chat.
So Ang Teng Soon is usually a doctor in our community, and
Okay.
last year he has up like 100%. So we do walks
Wow.
on Friday mornings. Yep.
Cool, cool. Okay, I think wow,
Yep.
humble, selfless. These are the reason why people refer.
Yep. Very
Okay,
nice.
so I think last thing before we end, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I believe there'll be some investors here, kind of watching this Facebook live and our podcast. So what is the one tip that you can give them to help them better invest or generate returns while like because the current situation is everyone just on some hype train of crypto, all these kind of things. So
Mm-hmm.
what is one advice you give them to better manage their emotions, especially during this period of times?
Yep. Again, I'm not gonna give like complex stuff that you can't
Yeah,
execute. Most importantly, is things that you can execute really well. I guess. So that's a question that I've asked myself, and through the last 10 years of journey of investing, I realized a few things. The best way to learn some stuff is really not from the books. It's really not from articles. It's really about from someone, right? So I think it's really important. Like if all of us wants to invest better, we always want to ask ourselves, okay, but before that I just want to share something, right? And I like
yeah,
to share this because we must all of us must have this thing called intellectual curiosity, right? You are curious to find out things and how things work. Must have this natural curiosity. But that's just a level one kind of curiosity. But I want to talk about the level two, right? Which is a word that's not being often mentioned. It's called intellectual tension. We use this word called tension. It means that when there are things that you don't understand, you can't sleep. You are always obsessed about it.
Yeah.
You're so tired, but you keep going on trying to like find this problem out. So I think when it comes to investing, if you're making 20% and you're not happy about it, you are seeing that people are making 80 to 90%, then you must have the intellectual tension to ask yourself, how are they investing differently from you? Could you actually invite one of these guys that's making 80, 90% results, go out with a meal for you, with you, and ask them like, what are companies do you look at, and why do you look at these companies, and ask yourself, what am I missing? What else can I learn as well? And Ted, I love this quote. It says that um, a master is once a disciple, but a true master is always a disciple. Even at my level today, I'm still trying to learn a lot. And I feel that for every investor out there, if you want to invest better in this year, every year is a good year if you know what you're doing, right? Every year is a good year. But I think we cannot stop learning. We just have to mix around with people, and not just uh, Singaporeans, but mixing with overseas investors as well, and just getting a lot of different ideas, and implementing it, absorbing it, discarding what you think doesn't work, and use it to actually improve on your investing strategies. And I think that a lot of us, we are very fixated with a certain strategy, but for me, I think I'm always learning, so I'm always trying something new. And because if I'm trying something new, I'm always having different styles of investing, and I know that which style works better. Like, I'm always trying new things, right? But when I try new things, I try it in a small percentage of my portfolio. If it works, I'll scale it very big time. If it doesn't work, I'll put it one side. So to really summarize, right, I think it's about finding people who have done better than you, and not envy them, but ask yourself, how can you be more like them? What are the skill sets and the investing knowledge that they have that you don't, and how can you work towards it? And
Mhm.
second is that don't be afraid of trying new things. You know, trying options, different kind of options, but limit the risk so that you know whether this works for you or this doesn't work for you. Because the saddest thing is this, right? That you know this strategy, and you tell, and 2 years down the road and say, oh, I wish that I utilized this strategy earlier because I would have made more money. And sometimes time is so precious that if you have done the right strategy, you could retire maybe many years earlier. So
Yeah.
I always encourage all of us to have an open mindset. Don't judge too quickly. In the past, people say option is very risky, right? But if you have the right knowledge, option is not risky. So have an open mindset. Try new things, and really just keep growing every single year. And if you find yourself, learning nothing every year, then you need to find people who are doing better than you and ask, what is your learning routine? Like, who do you learn from? There's nothing wrong learning from people who are learning from other people. So I always think there's so many people to learn from. And I just really also want to say this, right? It's not that I don't respect Warren Buffett, but Warren Buffett isn't the only person that you can learn from. In
Yeah.
fact, today there are so many great investors out there that we can learn from every single day. Yep. So that's how
Mm.
I think. And I think hopefully this advice would help many investors to have a crazy, phenomenal year in 2021. Anyway, Ted, like this year is a year of monkey. Monkey is a good
Ox.
year.
It's ox, right?
Sorry, this year is a year of ox. Yes, but for monkeys, it's a absolutely incredible year in terms of wealth accumulation. So I hope
Okay.
I can rub a bit of wealth off you and all our gym members who are watching as well.
Oh, nice. Any words to say to them? Because I think like there is a couple of them down here. Any words for them? Any words to them?
You
There's a
guys were
lot of
there
people.
since. I mean,
There's Pauline, Ruth, Sally, a couple of people.
so just really honored to be doing this. I think at my age, you never expected to have such great support, and this community belongs to everyone, not just me. And I think that if we are really focused on our fundamentals, and sharing with a humble heart and not being arrogant in what we do, learning, that'd be really great, right? So, I'm not like very expressive in what I say. I just want you guys to do well, have like the money that you want in your life, and just really share the work that we do here to more people so that they could actually enjoy the life that you enjoy right now. We don't have scarcity mindset here, but please, and we have an abundance mindset. Like, we think that we can do well, and the more people we bring in, the more viewpoints we have, and we could succeed together. So thanks guys, like really good stuff.
Nice. Okay, so last thing before we end. So I believe there are some group of people here that maybe they are to learn how to invest, or they're kind of stuck at a stage where they're just so confused from like try dive into crypto stocks, goals. Everyone is shouting different things.
Yep.
So what's one of the advice, and what are some of the resources that you can provide them? Maybe it's a link or something. Anything you can provide these people.
Um, I think it's perfectly understandable to be confused by a lot of investments out there. I think it's a great thing that we have great investments. So it's really up to us, our responsibility, our duty to really understand what really works. So I think uh, one of the things that I realized that how a lot of people grown very quickly is that they have a mentor. So if you want to invest in crypto, find someone that's been doing really well in crypto. And I would even say, be desperate to connect with that person, connect, and there's no harm if this person doesn't want to meet you. It's okay. There's many other experts, right? So you want to learn from stocks. If you want to learn from stocks, you can learn from many people, including from myself. But it's really learning someone who's actually a practitioner, right?
Mhm.
I wish I gave my advice to myself like many years ago when I first started 10 years ago, because I was just trying to find out things myself and I was just banging my head around the wall. It was painful, right? Not literally, but still very painful. Okay. But if I have this thing called gym, if someone created gym for me, I think within the 2 3 years I would have like better results way quicker, right? So I think it's just really finding a mentor. I think this advice is being said by many people. Sounds very cliche, but it's true, right? It's true, and this is the reason why it has been mentioned many times. So for people who want to learn about what we do here, I think what I'll do is to give you my Instagram link. You can follow me, and over there there's a link in my bio. You open it up, there will be links to my Telegram group, whereby it's a free group to join. Currently, we have 5,000 subscribers who are actually receiving daily information from us. And also, I have a workshop that I do not often, but quite. I think 2 weeks every 2 months. I'll do it a few times to really share with people like how is my life, what is growth investing, because it's so confusing, right? So we really want to make it simple, such that when you learn, it's going to be easy for you, and you will have a lot of fun while doing that. So workshops is always very fun because that is how I get to meet all of you guys, and it's really great to do that.
Cool. If let's say somebody wants to register for a workshop right now, where can you direct them to? Is it your Instagram a link?
Yeah, so right now I will actually paste a link on the chat box. Then over there there's a direct link to my workshop. So if I would just want to type, you just want to like read it out, it's called like resources.caveso.com/ig. I've also pasted it on the comments section.
Mhm.
So do look out for it. I think you have a fun time, right? And then please take down a lot of notes, because be hungry to learn, right? Be hungry, right? Every day.
Awesome. Okay. Anyway, thanks so much, Kelvin. Appreciate your time. It's about one hour. I think it's a pretty fun session.
Yep.
Yep. So thanks so much. I hope you had fun here
Yep.
as well.
And I just want to
And
say, Ted, thanks so much for inviting me. It's always a pleasure, and you have been doing such incredible work for us. And I think at your young age, you are actually really extraordinary. And the thing about you, you are so humble, and I really know that we have a good partner in you as well. So,
nice.
and Ted is still single, guys. No guys or girls, right? Who's reading this? Okay.
Guys.
Yeah.
Okay, Ken. Anyway, thanks so much. I hope for the audience, for those who are watching, I hope you guys gotten a lot out of it. If you guys want to learn more about Kelvin, what he does, how he can help you in your journey towards investing, click on the link below in the Facebook live chat, and just click on the link and you can head over to his library of resources that you can get access to. Okay, so thanks again, once again, Kelvin, and all the best for your workshop later.
All right. Thank you so much,
All right.
Ted.
Okay. Thank you. Let me stop the record.